So there is a new show on Nickelodeon called Spongebob SquarePants. I have watched the first episode, which is called Pineapple RV. This is the only episode out right now. The show is funny and I like when the yellow guy makes the green guy mad. But when binge watching through the show, I started to realize something crazy. I think this show might take place in water and not on land. So you might think I'm crazy for saying this. There isn't really any proof of the show being underwater in this episode. In the intro to SpongeBob SquarePants, we see this island where the show obviously takes place, because as you can see in this episode, the yellow guy lives on sand and there are trees here, which means it can't take place underwater, right?
Wrong! Hey!
Being totally serious here, there are multiple episodes of modern SpongeBob where if you didn't have any prior knowledge of the show and didn't see the intro, you might miss that this is underwater.
Oh, let me get it for you!
No, wait!
Something I've talked about before when making a video about the first season of SpongeBob is how the aesthetic was just perfect in the first season of SpongeBob.
Hi, Patrick.
And while the cell animation certainly is a big factor in that, the show feeling so immersive so you actually feel like you are underwater was also something that helped just make it such a vibe.
The early morning in Bikini Bottom, when the jellyfish are buzzing about making their jellyfish jelly.
It's hard to believe we went from the viewer feeling like they are underwater, like with the characters, to it not even being believable that the characters themselves are underwater. Let's go back to the first episode of the whole show. No, like, go watch the first episode of the show and come back. I'm not joking, I can't show you a whole episode. Like, you need some prior knowledge to get what I'm saying here. You know how copyright is with SpongeBob right now? I guess I can show a little bit.
The sea. So fascinating. So wonderful. Here we see Bikini Bottom, teeming with life. Home of one of my favorite creatures, SpongeBob SquarePants.
I might have to start doing that when I talk about the newer episodes though, cause YouTube don't want me to show more than 4 seconds of the episode. Viacom puts more resources into copywriting the episodes than they put into making the episodes good. Let's compare this wonderful scene from Help Wanted in season 1 to, I guess, like 4 seconds of It's Night and Day. And this episode does mostly take place in a forest. A kelp forest, sure, with a bumble jellyfish, but it's still a forest that does not look underwater whatsoever. And this is not even an excuse that it's a forest, because there was forests in early SpongeBob too. Let's take a look at one of the most goated episodes of all time, Club SpongeBob.
Make a wish, honey.
Now, it might not be as underwater as Help Wanted, this is season 3 after all, but it's still a forest that you can tell is supposed to be in the ocean. This forest returns in multiple episodes. We see it in the next season.
Far out, little man. Far out.
Where'd you say you were taking me?
But already it's starting to look a lot not underwater.
No, Patrick, no! Sandy, what? Sandy! Sandy! Well, At least we have food, shelter, and water.
In subsequent seasons, just this forest shows how SpongeBob's underwater aesthetic has kinda gotten lost.
Hey, Patrick. Are you enjoying our early morning nature hike?
And of course, it's not because of the forest itself being less underwater, it's the whole show. It's the small details like bubbles coming up when Squidward faceplants in the sand.
Oh, cheer up, Squid. It could be worse.
Yeah, you could be bald and have a big nose.
Well, this is the end.
No, it's not, Squidward.
It's not?
Oh yeah, sand. This forest had sand on the ground, which is something you don't even pay attention to until it's replaced by grass.
SpongeBob, Sandy, meet our Ma and Pa.
Going back to season 1, something I love about this season when it comes to the underwater feeling is these atmospheric scenes where nothing really happens.
Day.
This is very common with the opening for early episodes. Like right after the title card they hit us with some of the most like nostalgia infusing sequences. And I'm not gonna lie, even as a Sponge Boomer, this is like an early season 1 thing. Yes, post-movie SpongeBob is when the underwater atmosphere really started disappearing, and modern SpongeBob is when it's gone for real. But you can't compare season 1 and 3 with this stuff even. Like, the main reason why I have season 1 on the same level as 2 and 3, even though 2 and 3 are funnier, is that season 1 has this stuff going for it.
The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me. The Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for delivery.
Steven Hillenburg, the creator of SpongeBob, was of course a marine biologist, and his 1984 comic, The Intertidal Zone, which he created to reach his students and like teach them about underwater animals. This comic was a big inspiration for SpongeBob. Hillenburg's area of expertise was marine life, so naturally his TV show was gonna take place underwater. Early SpongeBob amazingly captures the feeling of being underwater, with the bubble transitions, the bubbles in general, the music and the sound design.
It is Sunday morning in Bikini Bottom, and it is about time for Squidward to practice his clarinet. So get your earplugs ready.
And the colors are very different too. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but the less colory colors, I don't know the word in English for it, it makes it feel more underwater somehow. They are like more, is matte the correct word? Like matte colors and just less bright.
Goo Lagoon, a stinky mud puddle to you and me, but to the inhabitants of Bikini Bottom, a wonderful stinky mud puddle.
What a great day!
Goo Lagoon is funny because it's a beach with water underwater. Now, of course, it is a real phenomenon, but when Goo Lagoon appears in a newer episode, it's not a beach underwater, it's just a beach.
Is this seat taken?
It is now, sailor.
And let's talk about the water itself. Early SpongeBob, especially season 1, had these moments where you could hear the water itself moving in the background. And I'm not just talking about when they're at Goo Lagoon.
What there?
Huh?
I just met this girl. She wears a hat full of air.
Do you mean she puts on airs?
I guess so.
That's just fancy talk.
To see the loss of SpongeBob's underwater atmosphere, you can just look at the season 15 episode A Fish Called Sandy, which is an homage episode to the early seasons, and therefore makes it a point to actually bring back the underwater atmosphere.
The ocean, so bustling with aquatic life.
This episode feels a lot more underwater, but comparing it to the other episodes in the same season, it's not a very underwater season. And I've talked about this episode before and how I feel it kinda fails at being pre-movie SpongeBob, but the one thing it succeeds at is just showing how the water kind of disappeared from SpongeBob.